D'Angelo Russell, what a close for you guys. What a victory. You just went over to say something to Austin Reaves. Rui Hachimura, huge off the bench. You, LeBron, AD, provided a lot in that starting lineup, but kind of a total team effort.
Exactly. Team effort. Team effort. I think everybody was excited for everybody in this one, and everybody played their part and contributed, and we got it done. Simple as that. Everybody's capable on our team, and I think that's what makes us scary.
Yeah, you told us when you got here, you're a grown man now, real even-keeled. Wasn't the best shooting game for you against the Timberwolves. You bounced back after a slow start. Find a rhythm here and really help the team out. How did you approach this game mentally?
Just locked in from since I woke up. Just try to be locked in with my approach and let my craft take over from there. The preparation depend on that, and this is the result.
A lot of firepower down the stretch with you, LeBron, AD out there, but it was Austin getting going a lot. I know you've been a fan of his game since you've been playing with him. What'd you see?
Honestly, he was just patient. He was patient from the jump, got going. He was out the game a little bit, came back, still on kill mode. And that's what we need. That's what we need. We need everybody to be aggressive and have the mentality that they can get us up out of here. You know, Bron, AD carried the load for a long time. Yeah. They carried the load for a long time. For us to just help them and support that and step up big, the sky's the limit for this group.
All right, I already mentioned Rui Hachimura, how terrific he was off the bench, but I also want to point to Anthony Davis defensively. 6 blocks, 3 steals. What's it like having him in there defensively?
He's one of the best players in the NBA. Simple as that. I don't think that gets enough credit to know that you're one of the best players in the NBA, and he's one of them. We got 2 of them. So for our group to come out and just sustain that and stay locked in as a unit and get the win is huge.
All right, D-Lo, 1-0.
1-0. I know what it feels like to be 1-0 here. You got to stay locked in, get the next one.
Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
The stretch there with Austin initiating so much of that offense after Rui had stepped up as he did. What were you looking for there? How did that develop naturally in your thoughts?
I thought it just developed naturally, and it was slightly deliberate. Both Austin and D-Lo, you know, we like just changing it up a little bit, changing the music, and sometimes it's Bron setting it, sometimes it's A. Sometimes we run a double pick and roll with both of them in it, so a small and a big, but thought he did, I know just him, his ability to get downhill, get in the paint, draw fouls. He's an excellent mid-range scorer, can also get all the way to the hoop, pull back on a re-screen, shoot a 3, so it was good. We had a lot of guys rolling, had their own segments of the game offensively, and defensively down the stretch, we were able to lock in and get some stops, some key stops, and hold them in 1 possession.
Towards that end, 7 blocks for AD, 3 steals, and uncounted number of other impacted plays. So what did you see from him defensively?
You know, he's our linebacker. You know what I mean? Just our middle linebacker, a guy that's just seeing everything in front of him, talking to the guys, just protecting the rim, being a presence in the paint, his activity, his energy on that side of the ball. He's a great active hands as well. So anything low, anything high, he can account for. But the communication amongst all the guys were great. You know, A set a tone. I told him before the game started, I need you to set a tone, be that guy, and he did it. And so, you know, his biggest mark that needs to be made consistently throughout is on the defensive end. We know what he can do offensively. He had some great moments there too, but defensively, I thought he was unbelievable.
Darvin, how's AD's shoulder, and can you take us back to that moment of just kind of the uncertainty, obviously going into halftime, and then, you know, him going through some tests and then coming back out in the second half?
Well, the shoulder is fine. I think it was just a stinger. You know, he got caught in the fray. His body's crashing, banging some people in the air, some people coming down on your shoulder. Then he got hit. Someone landed on top of him as he was going up and got a stinger. So that was good news to know that it wasn't anything beyond that. And, you know, just happy he's okay. You know, I instructed our medical team to get him to the back immediately and start the evaluation process and testing it out, and he was able to finish the game.
Darvin, LeBron took 1 shot in the 4th. I think AD, up until the final maybe 70 seconds, took 1 shot in the 4th. What did it say about those guys and kind of making the right play, that the trust that they had in a team, in the rest of the team, and how validating is that for this group, considering how still relatively new it can be?
I think it's huge, man. And, you know, the game and the opponent's defense usually dictates where the ball is going to go or who's going to have to step up and make plays. Excuse me. Obviously, you know, they want to take LeBron out of it. They want to take away AD. So other guys, they have to be ready to step up and make plays. You saw it with Rui. You saw it with Austin, D'Lo. Dennis, you know, he had some good moments just playing downhill to the rim. So, you know, that's a big part of it. That's a part of why, you know, we made the moves we made to have multiple threats, and where the defense can't just lock and key in on our two captains, and then, you know, in turn we struggle. We have a plethora of guys that can make plays with and without the ball in their hands.
Darvin, how big was it to have Jared do what he did against Ja there, especially in the first half?
You know, it's a testament to him, and it's a teachable moment for all young basketball players out there. You know, they just think, you know, it's all about making threes or dunking on people or whatever. If you're able to, you know, lock in defensively, rebound, really embrace that role, there'll always be a place for you on a high-level basketball team in a high-level league such as the NBA. So, you know, his ability to just lock in and be selfless, taking tough matchups, diving on the floor, doing the dirty work, setting screens, going to the second and third action when he's involved, is great. It's invaluable, and I'm just happy we have an asset like that on our roster.
We all kind of saw, as you came towards the end of the regular season and even in the playing game, it wasn't your sharpest basketball. You were still winning games, but not necessarily your sharpest basketball. What combination of the time off to rest this past week led to, you know, the execution today, or how much was it actually just, you know, guys playing really well on top of that?
I think it's a combination of both. You know, guys feeling refreshed, and also us looking at ways we can improve on that side of the ball. We were well aware of everything you just mentioned. You know, last week of the season or so, the play-in game where possessions got away from us. We threw away possessions with no pass or one pass, then shot, turnovers, and, you know, a little bit of that reared its head in the second quarter. But, you know, we went through the film, watched a lot of film on ourselves, and, you know, that's a hell of a team over there, you know, elite defensive team. And so, you know, your no pass shot, one pass shot is not going to work. You got to be ready to initiate quickly with pace, and 9 times out of 10 they're going to take away that first option that you're looking for, but you got to be able to play to a second or third side and keep the ball moving. And I thought our guys did a hell of a job doing that. But just the film study, the feedback, the communication amongst the guys and the players to the coaches to the players was phenomenal. And again, it wasn't anyone trying to prove themselves to be right or their way is the best way. It's like, how can we best extract the most production as we can out of this group? And this is how, and this is what's going to work against this team. This is what we need to explore. This is what we need to leave to the side. So I thought it was a combination of all of that, being fresh and really taking a deep, hard look at our offense and what's been good and what's been bad.
How did those actions come about? What were you reading? What was the conversation on the court, and how did you end up executing like you did?
It was really just, you know, playing basketball. Obviously, when you got, you know, guys like LeBron and AD, it makes life a little easier. But, you know, the games is not the same. It's more physical and stuff like that. But like the little stuff in basketball, you know, stays the same regardless, you know, regular season and playoffs. So, you know, we closed the game great. Yeah, and that's really it.
Austin, after a couple of those buckets, you ran back toward the bench yelling, "I'm him, I'm him." What was that moment like for you, and just kind of everything that was going on in your head?
You know, it's a lot of emotions. You know, you dream about being, you know, on a stage like this. You know, the best basketball players in the world. It's the playoffs, and, you know, I got hot late and, you know, have fun.
At halftime, I don't know if you guys had a sense for what AD's status was. Memphis had gone on a run. What were the adjustments that were made? Was there anything major? And then, I mean, I think you guys end up winning the second half, like 69 to like 45 or 47 or something like that. Like, what was the big difference?
We didn't really know, what, AD's status was. So, we were talking about next man up mentality. If something was, bad wrong with him, thank God that, nothing, major's wrong with him. And it was, it was really just focusing on ourselves. I felt like there was stretches in the first half that we talked about, in halftime that, we kind of let it get away from ourselves. So it was more so about us. Obviously, you make little adjustments here and there, how, the game's going for them as well. But it was more so about us.
Were you as calm as a group as it seemed? I mean, after halftime and whatnot? Because it didn't seem like anybody, was worried or concerned at all.
Yeah, I mean, they made the run, at the end of the second, and, kind of felt like the game should have been, 10-12, but you look up and it's 6. So it's not like, you're getting beat, like I said, 12, 15, 10, going into half. We led most of the first half. But like I said, the run, you look up, and we played consistent basketball for the most part the first half, and you look up after a run like that, and instead of it being 12 to 15, it's 5-6. So there wasn't really anything to worry about. It's a game of runs, so that was really what was talked about in the locker room.
Austin, the way you guys ended the regular season and even in the playing game, it wasn't necessarily your sharpest basketball. So did you guys have any trepidation or anxiousness going into this one, wondering whether you could, turn it up to this level? Or was there any signs that maybe you thought, oh, we will play at this level coming into today?
Yeah, I think it really started with AD and Bron's preparation and, how locked in they were, not the day after we won against Minnesota, but the next day when we met, it was no joking, no nothing. Like, they were super locked in, communicating what we could do to be great. And when you have those two guys like that, I mean, you don't have any choice but to, follow the lead. So I feel like we have a lot of talent. So that wasn't really a worry. It's just, when we lock in, we feel like, we got a really good chance regardless.
Austin, what did you see out of your backcourt mate, D'Angelo, compared to the play-in game and tonight?
D'Lo is a really, really good basketball player. And I think what, people were, talking about for him during the play-in game or after the play-in game was, he didn't play well. But you go back and look, and, he had 8 assists. He's so unselfish that carries, a long way for a group. When he comes off a pick and roll, swing, or, you kick it to him for what he has a 3, but, he throws the extra. It goes a long way. So it's not always about what you see, on the stat sheet. And then obviously tonight he was big. What do you have? 19 points, 7 assists. He's, like I said, he's really good, and, it's not always about what you see on here. It's, other stuff, too, in the locker room, him instilling confidence in me and the rest of the guys as well.
Before you go, our locker room is open if anybody wants to come in, but Rui, AD, and LeBron will be
Y'all can take off.
Austin, Kurt Sandoval, ABC 7. Hey, when you guys are down 6 at the half and there's so much uncertainty with AD, describe what it was like to be an integral part of that third quarter where you guys put up 37.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, thank God AD's okay, and, he come out and played a great second half. But it was, like I said, really just about us in halftime, kind of limiting mistakes and keeping those to a low so they can't get out in transition. Make them score in, the half court. But, it was really, everybody was calm, like I said, and, ready to just get back out there and hoop some more.
More questions for you?
It's tied. He's tied.
Obviously, Rui came here, I think kind of trying to get his career back on track and stuff. How have you kind of seen him, I guess, find his identity more as a basketball player, and just how happy were you for him to have the game that he had today?
Rui was huge today, and his skill set is crazy. Like for us to get him along with all the other talent we have, it just brings another aspect to our team. He obviously shot the ball really well tonight, but he was solid on the defensive end too, making plays there. And he never really tries to do too much. He's always under control, likes to get to his spots. Like I said, catch and shoot was really good. So, it's a big shout out to him for, having a performance like that. So we're going to need it some more. Appreciate y'all.
Able to have this kind of an impact in your first playoff game for the Lakers?
I've been watching film with Phil, Coach Phil. He always told me those going to be the practice shot for me, because the way that how they guard me is going to be like, they're gonna be in the paint. So I gotta be ready to shoot those type of shot. And then just the first half, I just didn't get as much, I didn't get as much ball. So that's why I couldn't really shoot that. But like the second half, we were in a good rhythm. Everybody was sharing the ball, and all those shots just came to me. So I just I was in the confidence to just shoot a shot.
You tied for the most points in a Laker playoff game off the bench ever with Michael Thompson, of course, doing the radio now for the Lakers. What was just the feedback initially from your teammates on the court, in the locker room for this kind of contribution?
It's funny, just they since I got here, this team, they really believe in me, my shots and my defense side, like everything, what I do, and it just, the before the game, the coaches, everybody, including Phil and like Bron and AD, like they gave me all the green lights, to shoot all those shots, because they told me I'm a good shooter, and so like I was in confident, I was very comfortable in shooting those three, so yeah.
Rui, you had your shot going, and then you have that dunk early in the fourth quarter. Is that even a play that you're attempting to make at the rim if you don't have the confidence of everything else flowing?
Yeah, I was making shots. I knew, Jaren Jackson, he's gonna try to block the shot, every shot. So I just pump fake, and then I just went to the rim, strong. It was funny, like just like yesterday or 2 days ago. The whole team, we got in not an argument, like in a conversation about my dunk package is kind of weak, so and I was showing all the my highlights on the YouTube, and they're like, no, they don't like that. So I told them, I said, look, like this series I'm gonna have one, so just watch, and it happened today. So they just told me, I said, yeah, they got I got one. So yeah, it's just the way they. With me, talking, like, just they told me to be more aggressive. They want me to be aggressive on the offense side, defense side, both sides. So yeah, that's what I did today. Yeah.
Hey Rui, what was your reaction when you saw AD go into the locker room at halftime, and then what was your reaction when you found out he was coming back for the second half?
Oh yeah, that was tough. I remember he said he can move the right arm or something. So I'm like, oh my God, it might be over. But in the halftime, everybody talk about next man up. We gotta be ready. It is what it is. And then I think the second half we started, and then AD was just dunking. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, he was fine. Yeah, it's the playoff. It's more physical, and they're not gonna call fouls. They're usually called and stuff. So it's going to be, especially though they're a young team, so, they got to be physical, to play against us. That's the way, that's how they can win, if they can beat us, So we just got to be more, we got to set the, the tone, the same, same energy, much the same energy, and we just got to be more physical, yeah.
Rui, you mentioned that guys were kind of teasing you about your dunk package earlier this week. Who in particular?
It was AD, Austin, yeah, those two especially for sure. Yeah, they'll talk about my dunks, before like literally. We've been literally talking about this whole week, this past week. So it was funny. Yeah.
Just since you came here, you kind of mentioned about, I know you've talked a lot about LeBron before, but him and AD telling you stuff, and I guess how much the way you view yourself as a basketball player, how has that changed since you've come here?
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I'm able to walk out with him, especially LeBron. I've been walking out with him, in the practice, the individual work. Nobody can do that, in this world. Just few players can do that, end up on the same team and able to do like walk out with him, go through the workout with him, And he been teaching me a lot of stuff, and I can actually watch him, how he been doing and stuff, and his skill set and everything, I can watch, right next to him, and I can actually walk with him. So that's really helping me. And of course, AD too, he's a great defender, and he has a good post game, skill. So I just watch him like all the time, in the film, in the practice, in the game. It's amazing. Yeah.
When coach tells you to be more aggressive, that's one thing to say that. Can you describe for you when you kind of start to feel and gain your confidence, and how that progressed in this second half?
It just since I got here, that's how they've been. They want to be aggressive. It's just it's hard to get in the rhythm. It was hard to get in the rhythm because we had a couple trade, and someone got injured, and somebody was out, someone was in. I was starting. I was come off the bench. It was hard for me to get in the rhythm. So of course I talked to the coaches. They talked to me about how they want me to be. When I get on the court. And they just told me they like how I play. They just want to be aggressive. That's one thing, and to bring the energy. Those are things focus on. And today I think from both ends. I think. Came from the beginning, I think I had a good energy and throughout the whole game.
And lastly, a lot of people have said this is not your typical 2-7 seed. You guys won 10 of 12 going down the stretch. What's it mean for you guys to get this win and grab home court advantage in this series?
Oh yeah, we needed this one for sure. The first game is very important. I feel like this is my second time in the playoff, but those every game, every positions, it's matter. Especially in the win away. So if we can win these games, it's gonna be much easier for us to win those games next, when we get back to LA. So, we just gotta celebrate, of course, this win maybe tonight, but from tomorrow we gotta switch to gear and everything, and then we gotta focus on the second game. Yeah.
Rui, I think it's about 7 a.m. in Japan right now. Just wondered how much of your circle is still there, and folks kind of waking up if they didn't wake up to watch the game and seeing you had 29 and your first Laker playoff game.
Yeah, they're probably, they're hype about it. They watch it. A lot of people watch the games. Of course, my family watched the game, and I still haven't seen that message and stuff. But it's great. I wanna show what I can do. For my country. That's my country. I grew up there. I was born there. I miss there. So it's just a good way to show how much I can do here.
前回の試合の後にこういう大きい試合っていうのは自分が一番活躍できる時っておっしゃってたんですけれども、今日の試合を迎えるにあたってやっぱそういう自信というものが自分の中になんか特別な気持ちっていうのはありましたか？
そうですね。言った通り僕は大きいゲームが好きなので、そういう時こそ僕の強みが本当出てくると思うので、そういうところは意識して僕も昨日夜寝る前にそういうふうに考えましたし、今日朝起きてからも今日やるぞっていう気持ちでできたのが良かったんじゃないかなと思いました。
Anthony Davis, first NBA player since 2016 in a playoff game with 7 blocks and 3 steals. The last player to do it was Draymond Green. Kind of impact Anthony Davis had on defense.
How concerned you were, and then what you did at halftime to kind of get it sorted out for the second half.
Yeah, Jaren Jackson just kind of came down on my shoulder. I didn't see the play, so I'm not sure if he came down or just hit it or whatever, but had a little stinger where my arm went completely numb. It was weak. I couldn't lift it up or hold it up myself. Couldn't move it, and just went to the back early. We had maybe a couple seconds or a minute or so. Went to the back and just did some strength things, trying to get feeling back, and I was good to go.
A pretty dominant defensive performance from you. Not just the blocks and the steals, but just taking away a lot in the middle where Ja wanted to get. How did that line up with what the game plan was, and what did you feel like ended up playing out for you on the court?
Yeah, obviously, Ja's the head of the snake. His pick and roll game is elite. He got the floaters. His launch pad. He jumps very high. Gets downhill. So I just want to take all that away, being up a little bit more, and just kind of making him see a crowd. You gotta treat him as such. Because he blow by guys, and he's very shifty. 6 feet, so he very slithery, and you just want to draw a crowd. Show a crowd and make him find other guys or shoot a tough shot. Obviously he's good enough where he's going to make some, but just make it tough for him all game.
Austin said that you and LeBron kind of set the tone for how you guys approached Game 1 when you addressed the team on Thursday. How much can you share with us of what your message was? You spoke to the team on Thursday, I guess, film session or whatever you guys got together was. How much of your message can you share with us? Like, what did you want your younger teammates to know about the playoffs heading into this game?
No, I mean, we just kind of told them that playoffs are different. For us, we've been in playoff mode for 2 months, battling, but it's different. Physicality increases as we saw today. Mental aspect is a lot different. Valuing possessions. Just things that we learned throughout our course of our career being in the playoffs, and a lot of these guys have not been there. So we just want to kind of harp on what it takes to kind of be in the playoffs and what it takes to win games in the playoffs, especially a road game. And that's all it was about. Like, obviously, Game 1 is always a fill-out game, just kind of see what teams are doing. Both sides are doing. They see what we're doing, we see what they're doing, and just go out and just play hard and have fun, and we'll make adjustments accordingly. But that's kind of all we kind of told them.
AD, Rui had 29, Austin had 23, including 9 straight at that one point in the fourth. How important were their offensive contributions tonight? And then just moving forward, what you guys need from your supporting cast, like those types of nights?
Yeah, like I said, we got a lot of guys who can score the basketball. I think Rui hit 5 threes tonight. Austin being Austin. Just instilling confidence in these guys. We work on it in practice, where the shots are going to come from. And, Rui took advantage. Worked on those shots all yesterday, days before. Austin just obviously being himself. He's been playing at an elite level over the past, month and a half or so. And, their contribution tonight and their performance today helped us get a victory. So we're going to continue to need, those guys. I think playoffs is all about, obviously, the guys are keying in on the stars. Bron trying to figure out how they can take us out the game. But you win games, playoff games, with your role players, and that's exactly what happened tonight. Austin and Rui stepped up big.
AD, along those lines, I mean, I think if we sit down here at most fourth quarters and see LeBron only took 1 shot in the fourth until those dunks late. I think you only had 1 shot at a time. Like most nights, that would be a bad sign for this team. What does that say about your trust level in this group and LeBron's trust level in this group, despite it being, really only a few months?
Yeah, like I said, guys make the right plays, and it's our job as the guys who's getting all attention to continue to make the right play and trust our guys. And obviously it happened quickly for us. It had to happen quickly for us because of the circumstance that we're in. But I mean, it means a lot to those guys too. When you come in and like the shot Dennis made, against Minnesota. Bron could have, that's his shot going left. Could have shot the fadeaway, but he kicks it to Dennis and he makes it 3. So, it gives those guys confidence that we trust them, and we do trust them to make the right play. So, when you got a lot of guys who's in it for each other and want to win, everybody's on the same page. It doesn't matter who scores, as long as we score the basketball and continue to make the right plays.
Follow that. Does that make it easier than, if it's crunch time, whether it's game 2 or game and you have to take over, knowing that they've kind of built this?
Absolutely, and it also, not only that, but it also puts the other team, on notice that you have to guard these guys. They make shots, they make plays. Okay, now it's tougher to double because now you got guys who, if we double, they're going to make shots and make the right play. So, like I say, game 1 is always kind of a fill-out game and see what's going on. And we made a lot of the right plays tonight on both ends of the floor. So, we're going to continue to trust these guys. And like I say, I think championships are won and games are won, when the role players play well.
Anthony, Rui was just in here saying that you and Austin were kind of giving him a hard time about his weak dunk package. He thought he had a pretty good one today. What did you think?
He had a great one. We always mess with Rui, man. He has his clip saved on his phone of him dunking on me when he was in Washington. And he shows Austin all the time. And actually, the offensive side, he elbowed me in the face. They didn't call it, though. But, we gave him a hard time about it. Like, your dunk package is not elite. You just do regular dunks. And he told us yesterday, he said, watch, I'm going to dunk on somebody this series. And it happened game 1, So on a guy who is a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. So it was cool to watch.
AD, with 3 minutes to go, 3 minutes and 11 seconds, you guys are up 113, 112. You guys close on a 15-0 run. What was that like on the court, especially with some teammates that didn't have much playoff experience going through that run?
Like I say, we were very well connected on both ends of the floor. We hold our hats on, hang our hats on the defensive end, and when it's crunch time, we do a lot of communicating. We in the huddle on the court, and talking about things, and we just wanted to make life hard for those guys, to make them take tough shots and rebound the basketball. And that's what we did. Intensity is going to pick up, obviously, and physicality is going to pick up, obviously, with it being the playoffs. And, when it's crunch time, those are the times when you need to get stops and get buckets, and we're able to do both.
What's different about playoff games when you two get out there, and specifically for tonight's game, AD defensively, what did you see there?
Obviously we had great chemistry, and in the postseason, obviously, every possession is very important, and you got to dial in and understand assignments, things of that nature. So we've had pretty good success as a combo, and want to try to continue that. But tonight, it was our supporting cast that won us the game tonight, and obviously AD set the tone defensively with those 7 blocks and just changing shots at the rim, taking charges, things of that nature. But our supporting cast definitely brought us home.
You said pretty early on that Austin had earned your trust, for sort of obvious reasons for you. But how did it get to the point of tonight's that rhythm that he got in? What were you guys going to, and what was the focus there?
We trust him with the ball in his hands early in the game and late in the game. So we got something going in the fourth quarter, and after every stop, or if we didn't get a stop, whatever, I think Jaren Jackson went on like a 5-0 run by himself when we went up 7. We went back to AR and just put the ball in his hands. He was able to hit a pull-up 2, able to hit a 3 when they kind of had a soft switch, and then hit another pull-up 2 to kind of put us up 8. So he closed the game for us offensively.
LeBron, you guys weren't as sharp as you had been over kind of the final last week of the regular season into the playing game, and Austin told us that, he had a feeling that the level of play would look a lot better from the group, starting with you and AD addressing the team on Thursday and kind of talking about locking in. As much as that message that you could share, could you tell something about what you were trying to tell the group about setting the tone for this playoff run?
Listen, we've kind of been in desperation, kind of playoff mode for about 2 months now, because we didn't really have much room for error to lose games or whatever the case may be if we wanted to put ourselves in a position to play right now. But when the playoffs start, it's even more dialed in and understanding assignments, not making mistakes. We can't have multiple possessions where we're not running back on defense or, we turn the ball over. And obviously, me and AD had the majority of the turnovers tonight. So even when we turn the ball over, we got to get back and set our defense. But offensively, defensively, we got to be as dialed in as you possibly can for 48 minutes. And I thought the guys definitely understood that assignment and were really good tonight. But I think we could be even better.
LeBron, Rui tied the Lakers record for most points off the bench in a playoff game. How important was he tonight, and just the timely shots that he hit as well?
It speaks for itself. He was huge. Like you said, he had timely shots. They made runs in the third quarter. He had 2 threes in a row. They made another run, in the fourth quarter. He had another 3 off an AR pump fake drive behind the back pass. He also had a beautiful turnaround baseline jumper by their bench. But he was just on time, on target all night tonight, and we needed that, especially coming off the bench, especially as well as their bench is. They got so many great players to come off their bench, so we was able to counter that where Ruiz began.
LeBron, speaking of Hachimura, he's talked a lot about just, your words and what they've meant to him in terms of just building his confidence. Obviously, he's like a really respectful kid. What have you found just about trying to unlock that thing in him? What is it? How have you been able to kind of get him to the point where he could have the kind of performance he did tonight? And also just how happy were you for him?
I think that's just part of my leadership, being able to, find what sparks every individual to try to reach their potential, the same with Rui. I see the type of player he is, we can become, and I just try to stay in his ear, give him positive motivation, give him positive messages, let him know how important he is to our team. And in order for us to reach the goal that we want to reach, he has to be a huge part of that. So, and he wants to be. He's asked me multiple times, what can I do to help the team win? And I tell him exactly what I think he can do. And it's not about making shots. That happens. You can make shots, you can miss shots, whatever the case may be. But his presence alone, his size, his athleticism, it just brings another dynamic to our ball club. And it's something that we didn't have early in the season when we had this type of length. Now with Vando and myself and AD and Rui, we got a lot of length out on the floor. So it definitely helps us be a complete team, and he's a really good player.
That sparks when you say you're trying to find the thing that sparks.
I can't tell you everything. You have to pay attention. That's all. You have to pay attention on a day-to-day basis and know every individual is different. So you have to try to figure out how you can get the most out of every individual, and it's different ways. I think it comes from being a father, I think, too. Having 3 kids, I understand that, I gotta, parent my kids differently to get the best out of them. Some of them I can yell at, some of them I gotta comfort, be more comforting, kind of, some I need to pull away to the side, and some I can yell in front of the group, and they be fine with that. So I think that helps.
Last 3, Dan.
Hey, LeBron. I apologize if you've been asked a version of this, but it's hard to think of a fourth quarter. I know AD got a couple dunks down the stretch, but a fourth quarter where I think the 2 you guys had taken only 2 field goal attempts for the big chunk of that. What does that say about the trust level that you've developed with Austin, Rui, D'Angelo, these guys, even though it's I guess still a moderately new group, it felt like you really trusted those guys down the stretch?
Absolutely. We found something that was going. It's an old saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So, AR was able to see a couple shots go in, and we ran that pick and roll, the double pick and roll, where he was running the D'Lo said the first one, 80 clean up, and first one he was able to reject, get a pull up 2. Second one he came off, they had a switch, but they soft switch, he hit a 3. Came back down, he was able to hit another pull up. Another one, they shrink the floor on one of them on me. I was able to, he came off, read it properly, kicked it to me, I was able to hit a 3. So it's just, when you know that you're playing with cerebral guys, and guys that got high basketball IQ, then you trust that they'll make the right play for the team.
LeBron, with your postseason success, I don't want to make this bigger than it is, but to get this win on the road in a 7-2 series, especially you had said how well you guys were playing down the stretch. What's it mean for some of these young guys that don't have as much playoff experience?
I mean, it's good to get a game under their belt, to know what the postseason is all about, and even if you've played one series or whatever, just to get back into the flow of things. And I think that's very key for our young guys. It's AR's first playoff game, so it's good to get that under his belt. And a lot of our guys that's not as experienced in the postseason, it's good to get another postseason game under their belt, so they know what to expect. But we need to be a lot better in game two. They're going to go back and they're going to counter, and I mean, we have 15 turnovers for 15 points. We can't do that. We got to be a lot better, and that starts with me, obviously. And we got to do a little bit better job on the glass as well, even though for the majority we controlled it, but we got to do even better, because that's what they're very good at. So we're going to look at some things that we can do better, and hopefully be even more in tune on Wednesday.
Last question. LeBron, for someone like you who's been a part of countless playoff games, what was it like for you just to watch someone like Austin in his first career playoff game do what he did, and then for you as a leader, just kind of run me through what the conversations have been like with Austin leading up to
Well,
this?
it's not surprising to me. I knew from the first practice that we had when we grabbed him that it wasn't going to be long. He wasn't going to be a two-way player for long. But then a couple weeks went by. I knew he was going to get a guaranteed contract at some point. I just know, I've been around the game long enough to know great basketball IQ players, and I know the type of players that fit with my game, and I knew Austin would be that right away. So, and I got to give a lot of credit to Coach Vogel on just throwing him into the fire and let him learn on the fly, and allowing him to make mistakes and allowing him just to play through a lot of stuff. But I knew the type of player that we was able to get, in Austin. So it's not surprising what he was doing tonight. Maybe to some of you guys who either don't watch him as much or don't cover him as much, but for me, it's not. I'm extremely happy for him, and I want him to do it again. Appreciate it.